Hello everyone and welcome back to our board game series. This is episode 3, and in the last episode we set up our turn-taking part in our game mode, and in this episode we'll be looking at the pawn pieces that actually go on the board themselves, as well as create a basic camera that we can watch the game through. So let's go ahead and take a look at how we do this. So we'll start things off by creating our blueprint class. And we're going to create a pawn. You could technically make this as an actor if you wanted to, because we're not actually going to be controlling it per se directly upon the controller, but we might as well, no harm in doing it as a pawn. By the way, if you are doing like the mannequin and you want to have them having character movement or AI control, you probably want to use a character instead. But in our case, we just use a pawn. It'll be totally fine like that. And I'm going to call this one BP player pawn. Gonna open this up. And the first things first, we're going to put in our mesh for the pawn there. And there we go. Compile and save. That is the main thing we need to have in here. There's not much else going on it because it's not actually going to be doing many movement necessarily. We'll be moving it bit by bit over the spaces. But the main thing is we just want to see this being spawned into the world on the board game. So that will do for now. Now, as part of this pawn, we want this to be controlled by the player controller. It needs to be assigned to player controller. So in here, we need to go ahead and set up the board game to spawn in with the default pawn class. I'm going to choose the BP player pawn. Compile and save. Okay, so when spawning in our pawn, we will using the player start here. The player start is searched for by the game mode to find a location, but immediately going to spawn it at the center point, which is up here, which is not exactly what we want. So I'm going to bring this down to there. Now you can get a bad size warning. That's okay. We don't worry about that. And we also want to make sure our pawns are spawning in regardless of collisions with each other, with the board space, or in this case, the player start. So what we do is we go down into our player pawn. And in our player pawn, go to the search bar on the details panel and find the spawn collision handling override. I'm going to click on that and do always spawn, ignore collisions. Now I've turned it down to 2 to make it a bit cleaner. But if I click on that now, we've now got 2 players spawning together. Now they are going to be overlapping each other. We will be fixing that in a moment. First things first though, our camera. So the camera is going to be another actor in our scene. So we're going to right click in here, create player blueprint class. And with this one, we'll have some control over it. So we want to make it a pawn. And we'll do BP camera. And what we're going to do, quite a simple one to begin with. We're going to have spring arm. And with spring arm selected, you're going to add a camera component to it. So as it to the end of the spring arm. And all we're going to do is we make it top down. We can make that go right up, maybe a bit isometric, maybe like that, 75 degrees maybe. And then target arm length, I'm going to put it as 1000 for now. And then we want this thing to be used as the main control camera. So in the event graph in here, we want the begin play here to get the player controller. And in here, we're going to set view target with blend to self. All we've got to do then is just drop this into our scene. Now, I did 2 by accident. Now the camera by default will be sprung back down into the ground, and that's because our spring arm by default has an option for collision. We're going to turn collision test off. Like that. And if I hit play now, we should see a top-down view of our game board from the player controller's point of view. Okay. Now, the client one isn't showing that same camera. Where's the server? Why is that the case? So what is actually happening here is the camera is doing the set target with blend. However, the client is coming in a little bit after the begin plays happened. And when that happens, it's going to automatically move the camera to the player's current controlled actor, which is nothing really. So what I need to do is go into our player controller and turn off the setting auto manage active camera target. Turn that off. And now if we hit the play button, we got our 2 camera views. Okay, perfect. So now it's just a matter of these pawns sharing the same space. Now, this is going to be a problem no matter what we do. So what I'm going to do is implement a method to make the pawns scale down in size and change their position slightly based upon whose turn it is. So let's go ahead and do that by default, what they're going to be starting as. So this thing will want to have the recognition to understand when it's starting a turn and ending a turn as well. So let's go to the event graph in here and add those custom events in here. Start turn and custom event, end turn. And on start turn, actually let's do end turn first. Let's do end turn. We'll take the pawn here. We're going to set its relative scale. So at the moment it's 1.0. I'm actually going to bring it down a bit so they are a bit smaller than the actual board size. So I'm going to make them defaulted 0.5, 0.5, and 0.5. That means that when their turn is ended, I want them to set their scale. And we'll do relative scale to, let's say, 0.2. 0.2, 0.2. On start turn, I want to be 0.5, 0.5, 0.5. Okay. The other thing I want to do is I want to change the offset location of our pawn as well. Now, at the moment, it would be the whole pawn itself as the actor would be at the center of the board space. But I just want to offset the visual component, the pawn here, to a corner of the board it's going to be in. Now, which board is that going to be? It will depend on what index this pawn is at. But right now, we won't worry about that. Let's just change the position. So on end turn, we're going to get its pawn, and we're going to do set relative location, like so. And we're going to get a random vector, or just do random unit vector. That might be fine. And then we're going to multiply that by whatever the width of our board piece is. So these are 2 meters wide, so we can do 100. Let's do 100 there. Multiplied by 100. I'll do less than 100. I'll do 80. There you go. And put that into there. And then when this goes back to the start, we're going to change its size, its position, sorry, back to 0, 0, 0. Okay, so now we need to call start turn, end turn. The player controller, on our player controller, we want to have a reference to our pawn specifically. So on begin play, I'm just going to get controlled. Actually, it might be better if I go to override and go on possess. Let's do that instead. On possessed pawn, we're going to cast to BP player pawn and just cast that to a reference. Like so. Now we've got a reference to our particular character. Remember, possession only happens on the server as well. So we'll have that on there too. Now, as for this reference here, we need it to start the turn. So the server is going to go player start turn, do this. So we want to take the player pawn rather than printing out the name of it. We want to start turn. And after 3 seconds, we're going to end the turn by dragging out the player pawn again and doing end turn. Okay. So let's hit play. Oh, wait, won't see nothing yet because I've got it set to 4 player when I wanted it to be testing in 2. So let's go back to our game mode and change the player list here to 2. One thing I didn't do was set up the very start thing of end turn, but you can see there one pawn has been shifted aside and the one's going to shifted there. Now, it isn't happening on the client side. That's because we haven't replicated this effect going on over here. So let's do that. Let's go to our player pawn. First of all, our player pawn has to be set to replicate. So make sure replicate is turned on. If you use an actor, that will be turned off by default. Characters and pawns are turned on by default, so that should be fine there. But this start turn isn't happening. This is only happening on this server. So I need to change this, and I can change it because it's running on this. This is a call from the server. I can do multicast to everyone. And multicast to everyone. Okay. And by default, I should also call end turn at the start of this too. Let's do end turn there. And we'll make it so it only happens once. So we'll do switch has authority. So at the start, they start off small and adjusted. Okay. Now, as for the random unit vector, I just realized a big problem with that. Whip back down here is I want to make sure that this isn't going up in the Z at all. I just want it of X and Y. So I'm going to change this to a vector and put in 80, 80, and leave Z at 0. I realized some of them were going under the map there. There we go. So as it changes, now it doesn't have to match up exactly because it's just going to be a client-side only thing we need to see. If you did want it to match up, then you have to do the calculation of which vector you want it to go to and then send that across with the multicast. We're not worried about that in this case because it's inconsequential to the player where their off pawn is actually being. And better show this off as well. Let's change it to 3 players. We got the 3 pawns there and the 3 pawns there. And there's one, I think it's hiding behind here. Yeah, there you go. Okay. So there we have it. We've got our pawns activated in the game and we can see them with our new camera. So next up is actually getting the dice rolling to actually move these pawns about automatically. So no clicking from the player just yet, just getting them just to roll the die, generate a number, and kick him across the board. So let's jump into that next episode, which you can do right now over on patreon.com/Ryan Laley, which thanks to all our Patreon members and YouTube members, they are supporting the channel massively. Thank you so, so much. If you want to support the channel, head over there, subscribe for just $1 a month, and you get access to all our videos early, plus other benefits too, including access to special rooms on our Discord channel. And if you want one-to-one support with your own projects, hit up our Diamond Patreon tier, which gets you a monthly session as part of your subscription. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you subscribed, and I'll see you all next time. Bye, everyone.